Welcome back to the We Was Watching podcast. I'm your host, Brandon.
I'm your other host, Chanel.
And we are back after a month because Chanel left the country. You know, she went to England. She went to visit all her African diaspora in London. She left London, took the train over to Germany. I got in Germany, got some great bratwurst and beer. Left Germany, took a flight down to the UAE, went to the beach, hung out with all the influencers on Instagram, and now she's back and we're back to record. So hopefully you all missed us. But before we get into
all that fan fiction, so we were sick. We were both sick. We alternated being sick 1 week. I've been in the country this whole time, and then work was crazy with travel. So we are here on a holiday because of that exact reason. And we've been warning. Well, I've been warning for a while. Hey guys, like our schedule might change, and we are trending towards a weekending podcast because of my new work travel schedule. But all of that said, we're happy to be here. We did miss you guys. It was a long time coming, and we kept trying to make it work, and then literally just we're not feeling well on the same day. So here we are.
why you have to ruin the story? I'm trying to create a narrative.
Because why would you put it on me? I don't like that.
What do you mean put it on you? That means you have an interesting life. I don't do anything but sit in the house.
Yeah, and sometimes it's true. Sometimes that's actually true. But I think if I was traveling for a fucking month, I would have warned everybody ahead of time, like, hey guys, I won't be here, blah blah blah. But we actually did try to make it work week after week, and then here we are today.
That's not how getting flown out works. That's not how it works. See, if I was single,
let's start the show.
If I was single, right? If I was single, I would be.
Yeah, but anytime I'm traveling, I'm paying for it myself too.
If I was single, I would be like, hey, listen, WNBA player, I'm almost 6'3". I'm tall enough to date you. You can fly me out. I'll be there. I'm 6'2.5". I'm tall enough. I'm not.
I'll try that.
I'm not 5'7". You can fly me out.
Let me DM a couple people and say you can fly me out and see what they say. Let's see if I can take that silence. Let's see if I'll survive that.
If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave us a review. If it's 5 stars, read it on the show. I have no idea if we have a 5-star review because we haven't put. In fact, it's actually more my fault because I was supposed to do these other shows that I'm watching, and I didn't do them. But I actually have one this week for the finale of For All Mankind coming out.
The people love when we do it, so I don't really know. Like,
oh, we did get a 5-star review. We got a 5-star review.
Yeah, but just so you know, like, but ours are. The other shows are good; they're nice, but people are really jonesing for us.
I'm gonna start doing shorts
from let's just start doing shorts. 5-star, like the whole mechanism fell apart because we also had somebody who was supposed to be working on clips. That didn't happen. Like the whole machine just didn't run for a month, and that's because we are a free hobby driven podcast, and I've been saying this for years. As soon as y'all start paying the bills, we will treat this like a job, but until then, we're just happy to be here and vibe with you guys. From That's My Opinion, which I have to believe is a Bravo lover, on my birthday said 5 stars, love the industry coverage. So we got somebody who is, I think, going back and maybe like starting from later in the catalog, whatever works for you. We love that. We always say you can listen to us before, during, or after your favorite show, or instead of.
They're probably catching up on industry and watching the podcast along with it. And you know, ours is the best, so they found us. You can also watch us on hold on.
You heard that bump like a motherfucker, man.
There we go.
Good job.
You can also watch us on YouTube at youtube.com/@WeWasWatching, or just search for the We Was Watching podcast. Like our video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you can see us go live, which we are back going live today. You can email the show at wewaswatchingpodcast@gmail.com. Tell us what you thought about The Boys. At the end of this, we're going to talk about what we're going to watch next. And what we talk about, tell us if you like that too. And we'll read that on the show. And then you can also Follow us on all the different social medias. Just search for We Was Watching on Threads and TikTok and all the nonsense where the people are, and you'll see us there as well. With that being said, I don't know. Do you want to talk about what we've been on? Or do you want to get into the show?
Let's get
I
into
have
the
a
show.
lot to say. I have a lot of what we've been on. Okay.
Let's get into the show.
Okay.
Once upon a time in the projects, yo.
So The Boys is over. We missed episode 5, 6, 7, and 8 just
second
happened.
half of that joint.
And 8 just happened this week. But we did watch all of them. We did watch all of them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we're here to instead of doing the recap of this bottom half, back half, second half, last half, we're really just here to say, okay, here's what happened at the end and what we thought. And I know that sucks because you're like, well, we deserved a weekly recap, and that's true.
Well, there's some things that we're going to talk about that happened in the episodes that we missed, so they'll get that. But overall, Chanel, what did you think about the final season of The Boys?
I really enjoyed it, but I'm famously not that hard on shows and endings, mostly because as a writer, I understand how hard it is to wrap a story up in a satisfying way. I also wanted to keep in mind that I didn't read the comic book, so I don't actually know the ending, and I know that the show we've already talked about how it looks different than it did. It already was diverging from the comic book, so I'm curious to hear how the ending compares to the actual one. All that to say, I think they did a great job, and I think I talked to a couple friends who had a couple of valid critiques, but I don't think that anything is valid or substantial enough to call it bad. I really do feel that. So I had a great time watching it. I enjoyed it. The show has given us a lot over 5 years, and I think it's over 5 seasons. I think it's really important to keep that in mind. Like, this show has always gone there and done a lot, and so the idea that like we get so spoiled that we want the ending to be like some shit we never seen before when the show has been some shit we never seen before is a little bit spoiled.
Well, when you talk about writers, generally, if you're writing from source material, it's a little bit easier to have an ending because the ending's already there for you. You just have to bring it to life. But in this case, they told a different story than the boys in the comic book. The ending, I'll just say this so we get it out of the way. So they took some stuff from the ending of the boys comic books and brought it in here, but it was nothing like how it happened. So like there was a big fight at the White House with Homelander and the boys, like that happened, but it was different.
Yeah, but didn't you say that Homelander was the president in them books already?
Homelander was like in charge. He was basically in charge, like he was here. They had a
Which we
figurehead
kind of did.
president.
Okay, yeah, but I'm just saying, so it makes sense that there'd be White House coverage either way because the story was taking us there.
Black Noir was a clone of Homelander. All the fuck shit that Homelander did throughout the series, almost all of it, not all of it, but almost all of it, wasn't actually him. It was his clone, Black Noir, who.
No, that's actually insane. Now that twist would have fucked me up. So in the comic books, you're saying that they got to the end where they confront him, and somehow they find out that the Homelander they think is so terrible was actually Black Noir.
He was still terrible because he was starting to spiral out of control because he was thinking he was doing all this shit and couldn't remember. And he did do terrible shit, but a lot of the most egregious, like depraved shit was not him. It was Black Noir. They end up fighting.
Like, Becca and Ryan and all that, is that in the comic books? And that was Black Noir?
Becca is in the comic books. Yes. Ryan's not in the comic books.
So was Ryan... Oh, okay. So there was no son of Black Noir to think about. Okay.
Then
interesting. So Ryan's been written in, and then I'm assuming the Gen V kids are not a part of the comic books either, right? They're a new element.
Well, so in the comic books, Godolkin doesn't have a university technically. He has a school for soups.
Daycare center.
He has a
Oh.
school for suits, but he has a
Somali
team.
daycare.
He has a team, and they're called the G-Men, and he's basically like Professor X with his X-Men,
Mhm.
and he has the G-Men, but they're like incredibly like fucked up, like having
Mhm.
orgy parties, jerk off set, like circle jerks, all types of crazy shit. It's really fucked up. But and so then they kill Homelander, and then Butcher basically goes on a killing spree, and he kills the rest of the boys, except
Interesting.
because but they took part of that because his whole thing was he was grooming Huey to stop him, and Huey did end up stopping him, and Huey did get married to Starlight, and they live after that. But he killed Frenchie, he killed ML.
Whoa.
Like,
Whoa.
yeah, Butcher goes around
That
and
would have
kills
pissed me
everyone.
the fuck off. That would have, like, so whenever people were complaining about the ending, I was like, there's going to be two sets of people. There's going to be people who saw it, who are who read it, who can't possibly be reacting the same way. And there's going to be people who have no idea, who are just wanting like some type of Michael Bay ending instead of recognizing like there's an ending to compare it to. So I knew the ending to compare it to would be worth considering. And now that we're thinking about that, I'm like, yeah, I like this ending way better than that. What the fuck?
Yeah, so they did it better. I mean, they did the whole show better than the comics. The comic books were a product of its time. It was incredibly raunchy. Like the boys' show is raunchy. It's nothing compared to the comic books. It's so far and beyond what you saw in the TV show. What happens in the comic books it would just blow your mind, like how much
So
more
how was
depraved
you
it
sitting
is.
there reading it? How were you not closing the book like that's enough for today?
Because I was younger. I mean, everyone should read The Boys if you're a comic book fan because it's ridiculous. But the TV show was done much better. It was done much better. So yeah, so they took some aspects of it and incorporated into the story that they wanted to tell, which I think they did much better than Garth Ennis did, who is a crazy person. But I love him. But he's a crazy person. Garth Ennis is the writer for The Boys. He does a lot of his books. They're not like all depraved like The Boys, but a lot of his books are incredibly insane. Like I guess is the best way to put it. Like they're insane. He did a Punisher book that's like it's called Punisher Max, which is basically like the Punisher just murders and slaughters everyone you could possibly think, and is so violent and fucked up. But it's a good story. So he's done like he does like a lot of really extreme stories. Garth Ennis does. So we call him a crazy person. So anyway, this is so I want to go back to a couple things before we get to the ending. Chanel, there's a couple things I wanted to talk when Chanel was sick. I really wanted to talk to her. I said, Chanel, I really want to talk to you about this because I got a lot to say. And then she got sick, and then I got sick the next week, and so we couldn't talk about it. But you know what I love the most about this season? You want to know what I love the most about this season? That they did not try to rehabilitate Sage. I loved it. I loved it. When Sage said, oh, yeah, obviously I don't want Homelander to win, but he'll fuck up everybody in the whole world to go to shits, and I'll be chilling in my bunker in Colorado with Sterling K. Brown, like in the mountain. I'll be in there chilling, reading my books in peace and quiet when my brain can calm down. I was like, that's right. Like, that is right. That's exactly what you should do. I mean,
So,
you're
okay,
fucked
tell me
up,
what
but
they
you
did in
should
the
still do
books.
it. She wasn't in the books.
Oh, so you were worried they were gonna? How were you worried about them rehabilitating her?
I thought they were going to make it so that she was like, actually, this entire time, I was one of the good guys, and I was just setting everything up to stop Homelander. And I was like, you killed way too many people to be set up as a good guy. Like, you led to the deaths of thousands of people for this grand plan. That does not make you a hero, which I enjoyed. It made her practical, which I agreed with, but she was not someone to root for. I mean, the thing about the boys is the only person in the story that you really are supposed to be rooting for is Huey. Yeah, it's Huey. He's
So
the only
everybody else
person.
is complicated.
Everyone else is complicated. He's the only person that you're supposed to be rooting for in the boys. And they sprinkle these things in with different characters where you start to see their humanity. And the boys is the story is like a tale of the spectrum of humanity, right? Because even like someone as fucked up as Firecracker, we see that like there was a place that she didn't want to go, and that caused her death, even as fucked up as she was. Like there's a spectrum all along the board of like how fucked up you are, but there's like a line that you don't really want to go over. And every time a character goes over the line that they know they don't want to go over, it ends poorly. And that's why it never ended poorly for Huey, because he never crossed the line. He never would go that far.
Well, he did. Didn't he kill somebody and felt bad about it?
He killed Translucent, but he
No.
had to kill. I mean, he didn't
Yeah,
had to, but he essentially had to kill Translucent. He just felt
Yeah.
bad about it when he
Well-
saw his son.
True. With Sister Sage, I would say, okay, one thing it makes me think of is how great it is when people update source material, because even learning that like a lot of the characters in the boys like were all men, like Stormfront was a man.
Yes.
And Soldier Boy is kind of made up, and like just all these characters became female characters to be able to like further the story along or whatever. I think
well, Soldier Boy was in the books, but Madeline Stillwell, like the breast woman, Stillwell was a man in the books.
Yeah. I mean, but again, like and then these new characters. So my point is like it seemed like it was all men, really, right? And then the only time you use women is for a plot device for like sexual assault to show that, right? And so I think building out this world where women are in it.
There were other women.
That's not the point.
Well, no. I was gonna say there were a lot of women in the story that weren't in the show, of different suits and that had different roles and things like that. But like another one was Victoria Newman. In the books, it was
Victor.
He was a man, and he was Victor Veet, and he was basically portrayed as like this stooge. Like, oh, we're just gonna put this stooge in charge. They'll do whatever the fuck this is Vought. We're gonna put this stooge in charge. Do what the fuck we want. And they made Victoria Newman to be like an AOC allegory, which is what Kripke said is what she was. They took a lot of stuff from real life. Yeah. So I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm more saying just like the use of men in the comic books and the use of women was flipped completely, like adding in Sage, adding in these different characters. They did it very well. They did it naturally, and I think it shows that you can diversify like, you know, original scripts and make them better, and the story is better told. So thing, that's one point. Sage wanting to truly just have a silent, quiet world does make sense, because when you're smart and you overthink, like that does make sense. I love that. I love that she's from Detroit. I love everything about her. Love her ending, and I love her ending. Like I think she kind of got what she deserved in a weird way, like in a good and a bad way. So I do appreciate, like, kudos to her. And I had one other thought, but I think Huey obviously. Yeah, we can get into it because by the ending, I think just suits for Huey. And again, like another character, Ryan, being built into it, I would say like all those are like additions and layers. And I know some people might not like that, but I really like the actors who play Ryan. What's funny is, I don't know, the one who plays Ryan now does content. And I remember I think his brother, he had a twin brother who. But I don't see the brother anywhere, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. But I also wanted to tell, I don't know if you know this, you probably do, but you know, the actress who played Victoria Newman and Jack Quaid, who plays Huey, you know, they're dating. Yeah. They're like in a serious relationship.
Yeah, I knew that.
And there were rumors that Starlight and Homelander were dated, but they're not.
In Homelander.
In real life, yeah, but they're not.
Hey, I like how all the terrible women in the show had a moment of clarity, at least. Some went better than others, right? Firecracker had a moment of clarity. It didn't end well for her. But Ashley had a moment of clarity, and it ended it worked out for a second, but
Fine.
then
She survived.
but I love how the show has consequences. Ashley gets up on stage and she's like, yeah, I had the CIA come out and take out Homelander because that motherfucker was losing his mind. And I'm back in charge and we about to run this shit. And then the news is like the next day she was unanimously impeached from office.
Yeah,
so
because
great.
what the fuck? Because
of course she would get
she
impeached.
was always right, but she was that reminds me of the thought I had. So one, I don't even know. I guess she was elected, but there was like this jump between
No,
season
she
4
was
and
the
5 that made it seem
VP.
like,
She was the VP and Homelander killed the president. And then she
I
became
know,
president.
Brandon.
What you say, elected?
I understand the succession of the president. What I'm saying is, I feel like if she was elected versus like in seasons 4 and 5, it made it seem a little bit like Homelander kind of pushed his president in. So I think it's just like, of course, if Homelander goes down, you would think the government would like hopefully correct itself, right? And be like, okay, we didn't even really want this VP in the first place. Like Vought kind of installed her like corporate money. So they had their chance to get their get back. That was like the like deeper level, because I can't imagine her actually having been on a ballot and people having voted for that ticket. But it does remind me of one of the big critiques of this show in the last couple of seasons has been like, wow, why are we making fun of Trump so much? Like, why is everything we're doing a parody of Trump? And I think that's what you should ask yourself. Like, how is it possible we're watching this show, one of the most depraved comic books in the world, being translated to TV, and we're seeing one of the most depraved comic book characters in the world translated to a TV character that's acting like the president? You have to put that on him, not on this show. And I think some of the critique of this show is like, oh, it's too close to home, or like it's stupid because it's like reflecting it. And I don't think people are doing enough reflecting on how ridiculous reality has to be for that to even be a thing. That's what I think about whenever I watch a show, whenever people have their concerns. Like the church, like, you know, trying to turn Homelander into Jesus should not be on a bingo card. That should not be in your Trump bingo card that Trump tried to call himself Jesus. That should not be a thing. But lo and behold, it is, because like history repeats itself. And that's why the people who've been, you know, this is me on my pulpit, but like this is why the people who've been complaining for so long about this and warning people don't have time now that y'all are concerned, because we told y'all this is a playbook. And you're seeing it now, you're wondering why there's all these synchronicities. It's because it's always been this playbook.
Yeah, in the books, obviously The Boys was written in like 2002 or something like that. So he wasn't acting like Trump in the books. But I mean, he was acting like Trump in the books, if that makes sense. Like, I mean, he wasn't like directly like he wasn't like in the show. It was like obvious. It was like, yeah, we're doing commentary on that. It wasn't that in 2006 and when this book was written, but he was acting like that though, which is what, to Chanel's point, kind of funny and ridiculous at the same time, and sad, all of those things. But you know, the other thing, so Sage, like I said, Sage helps Kimiko, and then but she also loses her powers, and then she also says, fuck it, I'm not helping y'all, and leaves. So like, you know, I like how the story was like, hey, listen, I'm not even A-Train. Like, yeah, A-Train got to help them and help the boys get out of the internment camp, but A-Train died, and A-Train was fucked up. So like the characters that were fucked up had moments where they tried to do something of substance in a point, but the show did not make you forget that they were fucked up. They were always fucked up, and the show reminds you that they were all fucked up. So a couple things I want to talk to you about. What did you think about, let's go back a few episodes so we can get to talk about it. What did you think about the storyline with the Church of the Democratic Church of America? How did you like how they brought that into the show?
Well, as you know, unfortunately, I did lose my life savings to tithes and donations.
Oh,
from
yeah, I
the
forgot to
church.
tell the audience. So Chanel texted me, and she said that she gave her whole paycheck. She found an official website for the Democratic Church of America. She
I
donated
didn't
her
find
whole
it. They said
paycheck.
it in the show. Anytime somebody takes the time to say a whole URL in the show, they've made it. So he said like Homelander.church, went straight to it. It existed, and they had a little tribute to A Train on there. Diabolical. Yeah, I think that you have to go like I can never, you'll never see me taking like a show about superheroes and people shooting lasers out of their eyes so seriously that I'm like, but it doesn't make sense that he'd go crazy, right? But there is this idea of like delusions of grandeur. I'm sure that there's a psychologist somewhere who could really validate like being grown in a lab, you know, being mistreated on purpose, being mistreated on because of neglect, then being people being scared of you all your life, like that would create this god complex, and then let alone whatever was going on in his head with the Stillwell and the dreams or whatever. But it's like the delusions of grandeur were happening for him, and I think it makes sense to try to combine power, politics, and church, because church is where people are allowed to be irrational. You know what I mean? We're allowed to have a belief system that everyone's supposed to respect. Like I'm supposed to respect the idea that if you want to believe that you know a guy died for your sins, and if you want to, if this person wants to believe the sun and the moon are the reason they woke up this morning, and maybe it's all true, maybe none of it's true, but like the point is that I'm not allowed to tell you that the sun is stupid but the son of God isn't, right? Like they don't work like that. So all that to say, I think it's very smart and strategic for anyone to use religion as a way to talk about power, because there's a way to slide it in. I do think that there's something to be said, like, you know, I wasn't a big Hamilton fan, but Daveed Diggs is amazing, and that song and dance number they had this man do was everything. And when you listen to the lyrics, it's hilarious because he's like, don't you want to see your Jesus? He's like, why would Jesus be in the sky if he could be right here? And I'm like, the lyrics of it is so blasphemous, but it is. I thought it was like a genius concept to try to use like this Tony Award winning, like, you know, play a stage actor, but secondly to turn it into a song of like, this is how church would endorse this and show this, and it would be about money at the end of the day. So I thought that there was a couple of hilarious elements in it. Like, I do appreciate that there's so much silly Homelander shit that happens in the midst of him being terrifying. Like when they showed the promo for him for Jesus handing over the crown and it wasn't edited yet, and it was just so stupid. Like anyway, so I did enjoy that storyline.
I thought Daveed Diggs was one of the best parts of the show. I enjoyed him greatly, his character, and you know, he had a little kink in him. He had a little kink in him with Ashley, which
Yeah,
was
he
his
had a great
downfall.
death. Like his death. Yeah, exactly. His death made sense.
And so
Very
that
good.
they made sure to bring that in with him as well. Give the other part of the Church of Democratic Church of America was the end of Firecracker, which I brought up a couple times. And basically, she was, you know, she's supposed to be like an MTG allegory, and she was down for the cause, true blue, like I'll do whatever you say, until that dude was like, "Oh, I'm God," and she was like, "Yes, you know, you want to be like a god, you can be like a god." He's like, "No, no, no, I'm not like a god. I am God," and she was like, "Oh." And then her pastor came and talked to her and reminded her, like, dog, you was in church every Sunday. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is fucked up. And then she tries to like,
Not only were you in church every Sunday, but church made up for how shitty your home life was, and so like you have actual relationships with your church family too. Like they were there for you, in a way beyond like the symbolism of religion. It's like your pastor was a good guy who helped you.
and guess what? She knew it was wrong, and she knew it was fucked up, and she did not like it. And she even was pillow talking with Soldier Boy about it, like, "Hey, this man really think he a guy? Ain't that crazy?" And Soldier Boy told on him, and she still, when had the chance to confront it, she capitulated to him to the point that she was just trying to beg and get on her knees for him. And then Homelander was like, "Fuck you," and smashes her head into an eagle, and she's dead. So she went out the way that she deserved, like a sucker. Chanel's favorite character, the person
Jeez.
The Chanel's favorite character, the person that if this person was real, she would probably want to date and be in a relationship with. What'd you think about the story of the Deep?
Okay, so I think what was interesting about all of them was that again, like Lord jeez, their their demises were all kind of like earned, right? And so the Deep, who we know like always cared about fish and had a relationship with an octopus for a couple seasons, was made to be a figurehead of like a BP type oil spill that ruined
Yes.
the ocean. And then Noir came and made it worse and actually killed no, he was part of like a digging, like a fracking thing, and then Noir actually made it into an oil spill. And
Yes.
so because he had been attached to it, everyone in the ocean, like literally everyone from sea to shining sea was like, hey, if you come in this water, it's up for you. They even had Samuel Jackson voice as a
Oh,
shark
I
to
didn't think
warn
you were going
him.
to catch that because I didn't catch it on first watch. I had to rewatch it.
Oh, that's what it is. And then so he's like, the sea, which is the Deep's place, like where he's most comfortable, they're like, hey, don't ever step foot in here again. So him and Starlight have this final battle later, which again is also full circle because Starlight like came in all innocent and the Deep sexually harassed her, and they're fighting it out, and Starlight is so much stronger and like less gullible now, and so they go through this fight where she's whooping his ass, and she ends up being able to knock him into the water, and that's how he is demised. So it's like there's a really good all this stuff like that comes around full circle,
Well, he also
and these
killed
people are
Noir.
dying.
We skipped that part.
Yes, he killed Noir during. I don't know. So I guess they also had a delay in their podcast release schedule because there's recording the podcast and Noir started talking his shit. My thing is this though: I'm never gonna tell my enemy I just did something to fuck them over and then turn my back on them. I think that was kind of stupid. So that was a death that I think people didn't really love because they're like, well, he could have just told him it was him from like while getting on a plane or something. Like he didn't have to do that shit just to turn around and get choked out, but whatever. So the Deep killed Noir, and then the Deep was killed in the water after Starlight put him out there. And Starlight maybe thought putting him in the water was like just gonna get him out of her way. She probably didn't realize that was actually gonna be how he died because only Hugh kind of knew that he was like on the run. So
well, one of the
on
best
this one,
parts to me is that Homelander's conversation with the Deep before he got into the fight with
oh, he was so mean.
Starlight, and because the Deep, his whole entire thing was like just being a fucking sucker, a cuck, for lack of a better term, to Homelander. I'll do anything you say, and just looking for his approval. And the whole time, Homelander's just like, I've always hated you because you just have no backbone, no nothing, just weak. But the funny thing is, Homelander hated the Deep because Homelander was the Deep. Homelander was just like that, deprived, looking for the affection. Only he was doing it outwardly. He wanted the approval of the people, and he wanted the approval of Vought, whether it was Stillwell or Giancarlo Esposito, who I always forget his character, Stan Edgar. His whole thing was, I want these people's approval, and he's willing to like do all this stuff to try to like get their approval, and he never gets it. And then soon as the Homelander loses his powers, what does he do? He's doing Menace to Society jokes on live TV. And so I thought that was so funny that and then he says all that to the Deep. He basically tells them, you ain't nothing to me, you're trash, I hate you, and then the Deep fights Starlight. He's like, oh yeah, if I win, I'm gonna be right back in there with Homelander. He gonna love me then. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? But that was like such a perfect way for him to go down. I saw some people were wondering if he was gonna be alive. The two things that I heard was like people was wondering if something like if the Deep was gonna stay alive, and then they were wondering, they didn't think Homelander was gonna win, but people were wondering like if his punishment was gonna be just not having powers, right? That he has to walk the world as like a normal human being for the rest of his life, and how fucked up that would be. But I was like, you guys don't know the boys. Homelander's gonna die, and it's gonna be disgusting how he dies. And it was. A couple other things before we get to that ending, though. Chanel, before that episode, we saw the end of Frenchie. Did you feel anything? Did you care about the character? Did you care about Kimiko's arc with Frenchie? What did you think about how that all went down?
Frenchie. I think the full circle here is that Frenchie was a bad guy in a past life, and so connecting with Kimiko, who like when they met her was like wouldn't speak and like was kind of in a cage, right? So like helping and nursing her back to like humanhood, helped him see the good in himself, and then he ended up like dying a hero. I think and he never saw a future for himself where he was like having kids running around, like he just had too much guilt and too much baggage. So with that said, I would say it was sad that he had to die, but it's definitely a better death to die protecting Sage and Kimiko, who was healing from Homelander, than being killed by Butcher. So I'm okay. I'm at peace with that. And then they had like a sweet little scene where so Kimiko, the part of their last ditch strategy, because after Sage tries to turn Homelander and Soldier Boy against each other by letting them know that they were like in love with the same woman, but that love comes back around and makes Soldier Boy give Homelander the V1, so he's now invincible. And so their last ditch strategy is like, if we can irradiate Kimiko, who chooses to do it, if we can irradiate her enough to give her the power that they gave Soldier Boy, maybe she can use that chest power to get rid of Homelander's powers, and we can finally kill him. So as she's working towards that, she's healing from that one time, like kind of the last time she has a chance to do that. And then Homelander comes, and that's how like Frenchie dies trying to protect them. My point is that like that is how he would have wanted to go out. That was a very heroic thing to do, and it was like a decent ending for someone who was like trying to pay penance for their past life. So I thought that was and so when she's trying to use the power, Soldier Boy used it out of pure anger, which makes sense because Soldier Boy is such an angry person and such like a curmudgeon, right? Like he's Chevy Chase as a superhero. But like she has a vision of Frenchie who comes to say like, that's not how you use your power. Your power is like, you can actually use love to like, emit this beam out of your chest and save the day. And so and then her ending is her like in a French cafe, and I think it's just like a very beautiful way to tell the story. So I do appreciate like if you got to really go back and do the math to like finding her in that cage and she wouldn't speak and all she wanted to do was fight, to him getting her to be at a French cafe being like, oui, thank you, bonjour, and trying out a Madeleine. That's beautiful. That's like a really beautiful transition away. And Madeleine, the little sandwiches.
What is that? I've never heard of that in my life. What's it called?
It's like Madeline, but it has an E in it. Oh. I could be saying it wrong.
Well, I'm not sophisticated like you, so I don't know anything.
Well, I'm also not French, but she's eating that, and it's like, it's a very nice thing. Like it's a super beautiful turnaround.
It is, and she deserved it. She had a. I mean, they all had fucked up upbringings in life, but hers was really, really messed up.
Yeah, like trafficked as a kid soldier, and then had to in order to survive, went nonverbal for years. Like she went through it.
And so so I really enjoyed that. And she they did this thing also with Frenchie where this entire season he was like the conscience of the group. He was trying to be the conscience of the group, and which told you that he's gonna die. He's not gonna make it. Now I knew that like some of the boys weren't gonna make it because I read the books. I knew they were gonna do something different, but I kind of had an idea like, okay, they're not gonna do it so differently from the books that like all the boys are just alive at the end and living happily ever after. Like they're not gonna do that. So I had a feeling that something like that was gonna happen. But I like how he went down like a G. Like he was like, if you don't kill me, kill me. I'm not about to snitch on my people, nothing. And I'm gonna talk shit to you while I do it. And I figured out how to fix you. Now you brought up something what I was gonna get to after we finished talking about these things, which is what I didn't like about the season, but I guess I'll talk about it now. The thing I didn't like is the entire V1 thing storyline was not in the books at all. And in the show, it was literally only reason it was in the show is because they're doing a spinoff called Vought Rising, which takes you back to V1 with the original Vought Soups and Soldier Boy and Stormfront and all those motherfuckers. And so they wanted to do a tie-in of some sort to get people primed for that, which is why they did the whole V1, go back in the past, look at Bomb. What was the guy's name? Bomb Squad or Bomb Sight and Stormfront and all those characters. Those characters are all going to be in Vault Rising. So it was literally just done to like tie people over to that, which is fine. I understand it from a marketing concept, but I don't think it was really needed at all. In the books, Homelander did not need to become immortal. Like they could have, because they could have took him out the same way if he wasn't immortal. So it wouldn't have, it didn't.
Yeah, I think they just did that to raise the stakes, and then they also probably did it to, I don't know, I guess like create like a more complicated dynamic between him and Soldier Boy, and then finally like that kind of is what breaks Sage. So I feel
Yes.
like it really did up the drama a lot for that to happen. So because whenever a show is saying, hey, X cannot happen, we have to do everything we can for X to not happen. Let's spend the whole first half of the season making sure X doesn't happen. And then episode 6, X happens. That kind of can push it into like now we're like definitely flying off the cliff and we're gonna end this in a dramatic way, or it can kind of be like a lost cause. But I think they use it as a plot device to kind of push it forward and to make like the stakes very real, so that they had to do it and it had to work because the V1's in the system V1's the system there. The V1 is not in the system of Kamiko and Starlight. Like it's we have those questions answered, and now we have to beat Homelander.
Before we get to the actual ending, what did you think about how they incorporated the Gen V characters?
Oh, that's probably the most valid critique. They hyped Marie Moreau up to be one of the most powerful soups in life, in history, because of her blood bending. And then somebody said they used her to do the push to start on the way to Canada. Like that's how much as they used her. Like she was they were all, her, Jordan, and Emma were all underutilized. I think that knowing that Gen V was ending, it could have been really satisfying to like do a bigger battle with them.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they could have found more characters to be like at the White House or at another spot. Like they could have worked them in more. I think they probably just got overwhelmed and were like, nah. But they used her more as like symbolism of what Starlight was going through, which maybe is just like an homage to her. But yeah, they definitely downplayed Marie Moreau, who's supposed to be like as powerful as Homelander because of her ability to like manipulate blood, and her ability to do all these other things that we only saw like even getting stronger in season 2 of Gen V. So I thought that was like their biggest goof. What about you?
Well, she should have never been the one to kill Homelander because that wasn't the story. But I agree. But what happened was Eric Kripke got asked about this after the episode, and he said the original script for this season, the Gen V characters had a much, much, much larger role than what they ended up having. But he talked to someone that he trusts, and that person told him to minimize the role. And so he did it. You know who he's spoken to? No? Kevin Feige. And Kevin Feige told him, Kevin Feige said, listen, what I've learned from doing this MCU thing for the last 15, 18 years is that the people who go to my movies, they ain't watching all the TV shows. And when I try to throw people in from the TV shows into the movies and they don't know these motherfucking people, they revolt. They push back. They don't like it. It takes away from the story because you're trying to do a lot of fitting in and updating people at the same time. And he basically said, like, listen, the people who watch Gen V, but way more people watch The Boys, and a lot of those people ain't watched Gen V. And if they turn on the final season of The Boys, which is supposed to be like the ultimate ending of this epic show, and it's heavily focused on these people they ain't never heard about and don't have any type of emotional character connection to, it's
Yeah.
going to ruin the season for them. And so that's why he didn't take them out completely, but that's why he ended up like muting their role a little bit in the show. So while I would have
Yeah,
liked
I
to have
think it's
seen them
definitely
more with you, like I agree,
Mhm.
at least in a big fight, like have a big fucking battle and have them all doing shit at the end. Like that doesn't take away from anything, right? Like so, I would have appreciated that. I do understand that logic of choosing to do that.
Yeah, I'm not tripping over it. I do think like there's no way to please everyone.
Yeah.
Because again, you have people who've read the source material, you have people who haven't, you have people who are into Marvel and DC and are comparing it, you have people who haven't, you have people who like have watched MV, you have people who haven't. So you can only do like, is this the best story we can tell? Is this consistent with what we set out to do this whole show for? Is this the same tone or an elevated tone from where we started? Like, are we being true to ourselves? And if we're pulling punches, then why? And you can go from there. But yeah, it's I hope they're really proud of the work they're doing. Like there were people saying the ending was like Game of Thrones bad. And I'm like,
Oh,
that's
come
y'all are
on.
dramatic. Yeah. I'm like, y'all have to stop. Like you can't do that.
First
Like
of all,
your opinion is invalid. Yeah.
first of all, I don't think I'm not the biggest fan of the Game of Thrones ending, but I think people way over like hype how bad it
Yeah, I
was.
agree.
Like they make it seem like it
I
was the
agree.
worst thing in the history of TV, and it was not.
Yeah, it wasn't like a stick figure dragon at the end that we
Yeah.
couldn't like the CGI ran out. Like
It wasn't great. It
just
wasn't
you didn't like
good.
the choices.
I wouldn't say it was
Yeah.
good, but
You
it
just
was
didn't like the
not
choices.
like people are like, oh, it ruined the show. I was like, no, it didn't. Game of Thrones is still one of the best shows ever. Like, it did not ruin the show. But no, I agree with you. That's kind of ridiculous. So let's talk about the ending. So Homelander has this big speech to the whole world where his whole thing is like, I'm gonna come out as their Lord and Savior, and I'm gonna have all my psychics across the world. And if the motherfuckers don't
And I
like
would-
it,
before you
uh-huh.
they're gonna die. Before you get into it, I would just want to add, like, so this is huge because again, let's think about full circle, let's think about how we built these characters out. And I think that it proves how good they've driven these multiple secondary and tertiary characters to where you understand their motivation and who they are so much that where you're about to get to at the end of Homelander's speech, everything made so much sense because of the character they've been building all 5 seasons in Homelander. Versus like if you want to go into Game of Thrones, right? Like what's her name? Khaleesi. Kavisi. What's her name? Khaleesi.
Who are you talking about?
Khaleesi. What's the queen's name?
Queen Maeve?
No, in Game of Thrones.
Oh, Daenerys. Daenerys Targaryen.
What do they call her? Do they call her like Khaleesi or something?
Well, that's what the Dothraki call her.
Okay, right. So what do they call her? Khaleesi? Okay. So Khaleesi going off like that is kind of insane because it's just like a flip switch, right? I feel like here they've been building this fuse into Homelander to the point where like there were no surprises. It didn't seem that crazy. Like they built it up and it felt earned that he was about to become like megalomaniac and kill everybody. I think that just shows that like for 5 years they've been making it clear who he is, and so it doesn't feel like as much of a like the Black Noir thing would have fucked me up because I would have been like, where the hell did that come from? But it just didn't feel like a crazy twist for the word father to set him off at the end. It felt like very like, oh, of course it does, you know. And I think that speaks to the quality of the writing is what I was trying to get to.
Yeah, he's doing this real just generic, speech. I'm giving my speech to the people. And the whole time the boys are trying to fight through the tunnels and get in there and fight old father, and Ashley shows up to help them. It's the whole thing. And he gets to the end of the teleprompter, like Chanel mentioned, there's something about saying that he's their father, and his whole demeanor changes.
He's like, I'm your father and you are my loving children.
And he says, some will never accept him, no matter what he does. And then he looks at those who doubt him, and they will die the most horrible deaths. And you know how he said it? He said it like Stephen A. Smith, like 10 years ago when he was threatening Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant was like, Kevin Durant said something about him on Twitter, and that he don't know what he's talking about or whatever the fuck. And Stephen A. Smith gets on TV, and he goes on this long rant about this whole thing about I've been, this and that. And some of it's true because, Stephen A actually did used to be a journalist and stuff like that. And he was like, I did put in the work and all this stuff, even though he's nothing close to that anymore. And then at the end of it, he says, and Kevin Durant, you don't want to make an enemy out of me. And he says it just like that, like super quiet and like super quiet and demure and like threatening. And it's the funniest thing in the world. And and everyone always uses that as like this line. And so Homelander was like talking.
That's hilarious.
And Homelander's talking, and he's talking so normally like Homelander, and he's, I'm going to be this person that saves you guys and all this stuff and that. And then at the end, he just completely changes his entire demeanor when he gets to that part. So I thought that was done really, really well. Because yeah, like Chanel said, it totally fits his character. It did not, like, of course Homelander would do that. Like, of course. By the way,
because again, earlier in the episode, his father was like, hey, I'm about to fuck off. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, I like literally just don't want to be a dad no more. Like, I did the whole V1 thing, but I'm not cut out to like actually have a relationship with you. This shit is weird. I actually think Soulja Boy's choices were more questionable for me this season than anything else, because they could have kept Soulja Boy being like, I fucking hate him, or they could have kept him being like, I love him, or I have like a weird affinity for him. But like, they kind of just picked that Soulja Boy chose Homelander when he wanted to and didn't when he didn't, which I guess that is the irrationality of a absent father. But anyway, like, so they end up putting Soulja Boy back into a capsule because Homelander doesn't want to let him go instead of killing him. And all that, again, to say, like, it would make sense that father would set him off, because then he went to go see Ryan, and Ryan was like, fuck you, I'd rather die. And so any like father from mention of like Homelander's father or Homelander being a father, both of those was set him off and made him realize like, oh, you guys don't appreciate me. So again, strong writing, I give them that. I do see other plot holes and other gaps, but I would never play with them like they didn't put together like a really strong cohesive show. So that's where we get our Homelander meltdown is coming. And then, so that, as Brandon mentioned, there's psychics all around the country like doing like focus groups to decide who to kill. Who basically, if you have any doubt that Homelander's Jesus, which is insane, like anyone with a working brain,
no,
is like,
not even Jesus, that he's God,
right? And so if you like and so you're kind of fucked if you're thinking like that. And then as he starts giving the speech, the whole thing starts lighting up, because even the believers are like, wait, what? So it was like we were poised for a big old meltdown.
By the way, I have to play this. Listen to this, Chanel.
They don't want Kevin Durant just because his name. They want him because this brother's going to do big things, and they're going to see to it that he's going to do big things. Are you trying to tell me these large markets are not a consideration? I said nothing offensive about him. I will not say anything offensive about him. I still stand here today telling you he's a good dude, but he's wrong. And the guys that put it up to him.
One of Stephen A's big things is the compliment sandwich. He does it all the time. I'm gonna say this nice thing, and then I'm gonna say something really fucked up.
Them up to it in their own way. I'm not talking about literally his comments, but in their own way, with their chirping behind my back all the time. They're wrong too. And the sensitivity that these guys are showing, they are making unnecessary enemies.
Watch how his voice changes, Chanel. This is so great. Watch how his voice changes.
Unnecessary enemies. I am not one of them. I won't be. I got too much love and respect for who these guys are and what they mean to my community. Okay. But I will say this lastly. You don't want to make an enemy out of me. And I'm looking right into the camera, and I'm going to say it again. You do not want to make an enemy out of me. I'm not having it. I've done nothing wrong.
Tell me that's not great. That is great television. He's a horrible person, but that's so great.
I pray to God he never gets into politics, because that's definitely the type of timeline we're on right now. But yeah, shout out to Stephen A.
So we get the big fight in the White House, and everyone's fighting, and Butcher tells Kimiko, all right, it's time to do the Soulja Boy. Crank that Soulja Boy.
And she's like, like she's trying to force it out, and it is not coming, honey.
Then she sees Frenchie, and Frenchie says, it is not the anger that pulls it out of you.
Oh my God.
It is
What a
your
good
heart.
accent. Wow.
And then she goes, "Oh, it's my heart, it's my love." And then she opens up the thing and takes away Homelander's powers. And Homelander's trying to fly, and he's doing like this weak ass
Wait,
jump.
hold on. She takes over. But we forgot, like, Ryan had came and joined the fight throughout this because
Oh yeah,
Ryan was in Russia somewhere. Ryan was in Siberia and he was watching the news. Mind you, there's no Gen Alphas that watch the news. So shout out to him for being informed. Shout out to him for knowing what's going on in the world. So Ryan is like, oh, my daddy came earlier. He was on some bullshit. I see him on the TV. He's on some bullshit. Like, I think this is one for Homeboy. And so remember he was Homeboy.
yeah.
So he goes
Yes.
Homeboy to save the day. So
Yes.
when Butcher and Kimiko are not strong enough at one point to hold down Homelander, so then Ryan comes, and I had a friend who said, shout out to James, who said, James and Alex, he was like, well, think about in season like 2 or 3 how many people it took to bring Homelander down, and he still wouldn't go down. And I agree with that, but I think the argument is that Orion is
Almost
worth
as strong as him.
a couple others because he's his son. So I think that's where the argument is. So anyway, they have Ryan, and so when Kimiko blasts, she takes away Ryan's powers, Homelander's powers, and Butcher's powers.
Then Homelander's trying to
them little nasty old snakes.
Homelander trying to fly, and he jumps, and he got he got the vertigo of a white man. He can't like do anything.
Yeah, no wingspan.
Then there's one-on-one, and it's like you live some, you lose, you win some, you lose some, but you live to fight another day. But Homelander,
shout out to Pop. Rest in peace, John Witherspoon. I will say this though, it makes so much sense now when you think about it, because Homelander in his life has never gone hand to hand. Like he's never had to do combat because he always used the lasers. He could always fly, so he wouldn't even have any level of muscle memory to throw a punch.
And so Homelander beat him up like Ice Cube did Debo, and Homelander's beat the hell, and he's trying to beg for his life. He's like, "I'll give you anything I want. You can have Vought. You can have the presidency. I'll bring your wife back. I'll have one of the shape-shifting shoots turn into Becca. Whatever you want, I'll give it to you." And he's not listening. He goes, "I'll suck your dick, man." Eric Kripke is clearly a fan of Menace to Society.
Insane. Yes. I mean, it's a classic, but I would say that like to see him that it's satisfying to see him that powerless, and it is a metaphor for power, right? Like if you take away the thing that makes these men so scary, going back to the political translations here, Homelander was only as powerful, Diddy is only as powerful, like all these people are only as Weinstein, whatever, Epstein, as the apparatus and the people who keep giving them power and keep allowing them to be so terrible because they're trying to cover their own asses or trying not to harm their own family. And so it's like once Homelander didn't have the power to hurt everyone, all of a sudden you realize how weak he actually was. And I think that's poetic in itself.
Then Butcher takes his handy best friend crowbar, stabs it right in his forehead through his brain, and then he cranks it open like a crowbar and pops out the top of his brain. And Homelander dies, all on national TV. Whole world watching. And that's the end of Homelander. And so then we get the fallout. We see that.
And if you in real life, like on YouTube, if you look, Vought International channel is saying, yes, confirmed, that video of Homelander was not AI. It was actually real. So like in our real world, they've been acting like this happened. And what I do love is every time you go into any Vought post online, there'll be a comment that says release the Herogasm files. So again, if you want to tell me this is not about real life, then stop making real life match this nonsense show we're watching.
So then we get the fallout and we think everything's going to be cool, except, Butcher was never going to be cool. The show tried to make it seem like Ryan didn't want to be his son. Ryan didn't want to be his son, and then Tara died, and that set him off. But Butcher he wasn't going to stop until the soups were gone. That was his entire mission. So Butcher
I mean, there's something to be said about that. Like, he was angry, but also Butcher was always like an all or nothing kind of guy, and I think that's the whole story of having Kessler come back, right? And be like, to win, he was willing to sacrifice everyone. I think like we had shown him grow, but we hadn't shown him change. Like, because a butcher was as the son of a bitch the way he is, that's why the boys persisted. Like, if he hadn't been willing to put Kimiko in that chamber and radiate her, they wouldn't have won. So I think that it's like his all or nothing, his like inability to let go and give in is why they won, but ultimately it is like why they would have lost too.
Yep. So he takes the virus and he goes to Vault Tower and he's going to let it loose to kill all the suits in Vault Tower and then let it spread throughout the world. And of course, Huey shows up there. And the whole point of this story, and I do know this from the comic books, but also they told it very well in the TV show, is the whole point was Butcher was either going to fulfill this destiny to murder all the supes in the world and get rid of them all. Because that's the other thing about the books. I mean, I think I told you this before, but the other thing about the books is all the boys have powers, so they're still supes to Butcher. In the books, has powers, Frenchie has powers. They all got suit powers. But the Butcher is going to take out everyone, except he made it so that someone could stop him if he went too far. And the person that he's been training this entire time to do that is Huey. And Huey shows up, and Butcher says, like, you don't have it in you to take out a mate. But he did. And Huey had it in him, and he shot him and stopped
And that
him.
is a full circle moment in a really weird way, because you have Huey who do no harm, see no harm, who's like, I actually cannot condone this after like all the killing so far. I've had to just put my hands up, but like this is just unnecessary. This is genocide, and he stops him, and that's significant for Huey having to be a bad guy to the guy who brought him into all of this, but then doing it in a very Huey way, at least how they portrayed it in the show, to where he's like apologetic and sorry. And then they had a moment where Butcher did have a moment of seeing his brother. He saw Lenny in him.
And Huey, yeah.
Yeah, he might have stopped, but Huey shoots him anyway. And so it's like again, all symbolic, all very full circle of like him needing to be stopped, him wishing he had been stopped before, but who he is and his effectiveness coming from how terrible he's been, and how like his friend taking him out actually was probably the best way for him to go.
So after that, we get the fallout of the season. We see that, like Chanel already mentioned, Kimiko went to Paris and is living her best life. Gets back with his wife, gets his daughter back. His vendetta,
his black wife. We have another black family reunited. Praise God.
His vendetta against Vaught and Supes is over. He's not going to go down the same path his daddy went.
Not only that, but he is now taking care of Ryan, who is Soulja Boy's grandson. So he's been so forgiving that he's going to raise the grandson of the person who killed his grandfather. I think that's really beautiful. MKB, welcome to the chat, says, Ashley, look at me, LOL, just watch Homelander die, never watch the series. Oh no. I couldn't imagine seeing it and then not ruining everything.
Ashley.
It's only satisfying because you watch the series.
Ashley got impeached. But you know, she made up with her the back of her head.
Ashley.
They friends
she made
again.
Up with Ashley.
Sage is dumb like the rest of us in the world, so she can just live a normal life like all of us. World. Yep, she went to Harry Potter world. And then Huey and Starlight are together, and Starlight's having a little baby, and they fighting crime out of his
baby. And out of his little baby
Robin, out of his original girlfriend. And they fighting crime out of his pop stereo shop.
Yeah, she's like a friendly neighborhood spider girl in that she goes and helps out when they call them in Brooklyn, with Queens, I guess is where he's from. But I don't know if you noticed this. At the end, they walk out and like she leaves off to go do her little mission, pregnant, to go help someone, and they're like, and that's when we find out the baby's name is Robin, and then she flies off, and it matches this shot of Huey holding Robin's hand in the street when she died, and this brought him into it. That. So it's like a very beautiful full circle, like Robin, we're honoring Robin's memory of what got them there, what brought them together. They're both doing good, because remember, Starlight was struggling with like, what's the whole point of this? Like, I might as well just die with the virus. Like, I shouldn't exist. And she's using her powers for good. Huey is supporting her, but also like using his power and his knowledge for good. And another thing is that the president, the rightful president, like whoever Secretary of fucking Labor, has been promoted to be president now, and he's like, hey, we want to bring up the Soup Affairs Bureau again. Do you want to, calls Huey, like, do you want to run it? Because he had done it with Victoria Newman all those years ago. And he's like, no, like, I'm choosing this. And so that's also a beautiful thing for Huey to not take on the battle in a way that would have changed him. Because definitely, like, those choices lead to different realities. So,
Also
yeah,
forgot
everyone in a
Stan
weird,
Edgar's back in charge of VOD.
of course, the stock price is surging. So yeah, everybody in a weird way got the ending they deserved, or a happy ending. So much better than Butcher killing all of them. That would have pissed me the fuck off. That really would have made me mad. And I think that Huey got, like, everyone got a weird redemption in a way. Like every villain died a hero, or every hero became a villain and got what they deserved. I don't know, but however you want to look at it, I think they did a fantastic show for 5 seasons.
All right, let's get to our superlatives.
Stop letting the messy hoes mess with your business.
So now, who's the messiest hoe this season? You're on mute.
I could argue for Sage or Soulja Boy.
Oh man, it's Firecracker. It's Firecracker up here giving breast milk to Homelander, and I'm gonna do everything for you while fucking his daddy. That's messy.
Hey, she's full service.
She is full service. That is true.
She said, "Look, it's a family business. It's business and personal." No, I think I could see Firecracker mostly for turning on her pastor like that, because like she almost hit him with the Me Too allegations as well. Like, no one getting damn well that man ain't do nothing to her.
Then she said, although he didn't do it to me, I don't know about everybody else.
It's like, why is you implying that? And then especially when like we know and she knows that he's like, was good to her. I think I say Sage because she posted that video of Stormfront, like, of Homelander having sex with Stormfront while she was deformed. And then Soulja Boy, because of what he did to one thing we did miss by not doing the episode by episode is we didn't get to do the recap of all those A-listers playing poker and them trying to turn on each other. How they talked about like Michael Cera and Channing Tatum being put in jail. And so we got a really nice cameo from Camille Nanjiani and Will Forte. And we got Seth Rogen saying he doesn't even really smoke weed. He's just talking shit. And then we got, oh my God, I'm so sorry because I know this man's name, but then we got McLovin. Damn, how do I not know McLovin? I mean, Muhammad. We got Muhammad. And so anyway, they have that moment, and then there's like a reunion from Supernatural. I didn't watch the show, but I understand, like, if that was your favorite shit, then you would be like losing over that. Anyway, in that scene, they almost get Homelander, and they think Soulja Boy's going to help them bring him down, and Soulja Boy doesn't, and then he ends up helping. Like, all these random turns where Soulja Boy helped Homelander with, like, who's my son or whatever. It's like, fuck you. So that's why I think he's messy, but I could definitely give you Firecracker.
Yeah, Malchemical, who's supposed to be Metamorpho, like you saw in Superman. That's his person.
You got knocked the fuck out, man!
Who caught the best fade this season, Chanel?
I mean, Crowbar to the Head is pretty epic. And then Oh Father was a good one because
that was mine. Oh Father.
Yeah, I didn't see the titanium super vibranium ball gag being Kevlar. How he died so well.
The Kevlar ball gag. Yeah. That took him down. Mm-hmm. His own kink took him down. That's gotta be one of the worst.
Also, I think so. All season, I mean, all show, Huey's had blood. Huey definitely has hepatitis, by the way, because all these people keep exploding on Huey. There's always blood on his face. Mother's Milk keeps being like kink related injuries, and so the fact that like every time somebody had a super penis, they attacked is crazy, and the fact that he had to kill him with the ball gag is so funny. Like they would always do these like sexual pranks on so we had that moment there. So that was another full circle ending with the ball gag.
I've been dealing drugs ever since I was 12 years old. See, I didn't have the chances that you have, Miss Hawkins.
Who had the best speech or monologue this season?
Homelander's monologue at the end was scary and important. I think Butcher gave a good pep talk in that last episode about Posh Spice and how Victoria Beckham is more than we expected her to be. And then I think I would give like an honorable mention, honestly, to A-Train, because him getting in that, him laughing at Homelander before he died and being like, I don't even know what I was so scared of, was succinct but powerful. What about you?
For me, it's Homelander talking to the deep. And basically just reading the deep to death was just the best thing ever. It was so satisfying, even though Homelander's trash. It's like, yeah, deep, you might be even worse than Homelander because you're so weak. Just such a sap.
He's such a bro. Worse. He's such a bro. But like some bros can be redeemed. This was a bad bro.
All right, that was the boys. Let's really quick talk about what we've been. Don't watch TV. So Chanel, the show, I text Chanel and I don't think I responded to her when she asked me what it is. But the show we should have been watching this entire time is on Apple TV, and it's called Widow's Bay. It is incredible. It's so good. It's so good. It's on episode 5 or 6. You want me to describe Widow's Bay to you? Okay, I'm going to describe Widow's Bay to you.
Okay.
What if you took The Office, right? The Office, and The Office had sex with The Conjuring, and it had a baby. Or Annabelle, or any of those movies. That's Widow's Bay.
Okay, so it's a funny horror. Okay. Who's in it?
Matthew Race is in it, and I don't know none of the other actors in it, but I know him.
Okay. I'm not opposed.
It's only about 35 minutes long. It's excellent. You should catch up and watch it. It's really good. It's about like this small town island, but it's kind of haunted, but it's so fucking funny. But it's also like the scary parts are actually scary. And so it's like merging these two genres that you don't think should be together really well. It's doing pretty well. I think last time I saw it was at like 99% on Rotten Tomatoes, which it's it's excellent.
That's high as fuck, yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a really good show. And it's quick because it's like a sitcom timing. I think it's like 35 minutes per episode, 36 minutes. So it's not like something you have to invest a whole lot of time in to watch. It's really, really well done. I also, what's the other thing that I watched? Oh, I didn't watch this, but I found out something. So you know how there's like Bravo, which I call it Ratchet TV. So Bravo's like the most highbrow Ratchet TV. It's like the Housewives and the my girl MJ from Shaw's of Sunset. I don't think they call that no more. But
yeah, it shows off. They
got a new show, right? With RZA. No, not RZA, GZA.
Yeah, I can't tell you what it's called.
But MJ and GZA. RZA and MJ, and Candy's not on Housewives no more, which is upsetting. But my girl K Michelle is on there, who I love. So you see, I'll be on it. You ain't know I'll be on it. I'll be on it. And I told you Dr. Heavenly was going to win and become a congresswoman, and she about to win in a couple weeks.
It's all bad.
So that's the highest brow Ratchet TV. And then you have the next ring, which is VH1, which is like Love and Hip Hop and not Love and Basketball, Basketball Wives, and that shit, right? That's it's not Bravo, but it's the next level down. You know what I found out over the last week? What? That there's other Ratchet TV, even more ratchet than that. There's like something called Zeus Network, and there's something called Now That's TV, and they get real. They be really scrapping on there.
Zeus is the craziest one, yeah, because Zeus is private.
And like on Now That's TV, they be showing them. They be showing them like fully butt ass naked, like no blurring out, and they be fighting each other, bleeding and shit. I was like, what the fuck? They got actual Ratchet TV out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've subscribed to Zeus before to watch his nonsense.
And I found out that Jocelyn, because I was like, what happened to Jocelyn? I like Jocelyn.
Oh, that's
was
why
on
I
there.
subscribed. Yeah, I watched Jocelyn's Cabaret. Yep.
And she was
that was
on
the
there.
Moment when they, yep, Jocelyn's Cabaret, her trying to teach these girls up.
And I was like, that's where Jocelyn went.
Mm-hmm.
And so I learned about that.
The Puerto Rican princess.
I learned about that the last 2 weeks.
I was watching the Super Bowl with my friends, and one of them's Puerto Rican and Dominican, the other one is Colombian. And I was like, y'all don't know about the Puerto Rican princess? What the because we were watching Bad Bunny. I'm like, y'all don't know about Jocelyn Hernandez? And I had to try to teach them real quick. It was hard to get them to really understand her significance. But unfortunately, Puerto Rican princess, I guess, is only known by Black people, not by Puerto Ricans. I'm like, what? The Puerto Ricans are Black. Anyway.
Also, I've been watching a ton of NBA basketball. Chanel's Pistons, who she doesn't actually cheer for, but she pretends to cheer for, choked and lost in the second round. So that's unfortunate. But they had a good season. They had a very good season. They were number 1 seed, won 60 games.
Very good season. I was ready. I was camped out for the parade, and I'm very sad. So, my thing about professional sports is they play 1,200 games. Like the fact that you play so many games, I'm like, I don't have the energy to wait for a whole nother season and see if y'all win next year. It's like, I'm just, there's so many other things I could do between now and then. So we'll see if I'm excited about them next year, but I am a Detroit sports fan across the board. So shout out to my guys. I hope they rest and recover very well this off season.
I also saw The Mandalorian and Grogu, which was,
there's a lot of movies out,
which was good, which was a good movie.
Never finished that.
I was supposed to see Is God Is, but I was sick. That was when I was sick, and my wife left and went by herself.
I gotta see I Love Boosters. Mm-hmm.
And then I'm supposed to go see I Love Boosters as well, because Boots Riley did one of my favorite movies of all time, Sorry to Bother You. So I was like, oh, he did Sorry to Bother You. This might be good. So I might try and go see that.
Yeah, I'm hearing mixed reviews.
Oh, you're hearing mixed reviews?
But not too much. Mostly
and I also
good.
saw Mortal Kombat 2, which was very fun. Probably the best video game movie they've ever made. So what have you been on, Chanel?
Shit. Been working. I was sick as fuck. I was working, and that's it. Just been traveling, running around. I'm in Philly this weekend doing some club appearances. No, I actually came out to Philly for the Don Toliver concert. Had a blast. Went to go see Don Toliver last night, and then got home and saw this girl, because I used to live in Pittsburgh, go to school out there. I follow this girl still, she was posting about the Don Toliver concert in Pittsburgh, and I had the most ADHD thought ever.
What is that?
I was leaving the concert and I saw her showing her video of the concert, and I was like, I want to go to the concert.
That concert you just left?
Yeah, I was like, I had FOMO. I had jealousy of her going to the concert. And I just left the concert, and I was like, I'll never be happy. And so anyway, I had a great time. He's, Octane is turned. It is a great show. He goes up in the air and shit, and there's always like live music accompaniment. It's a good time. So I had a good time at the concert, seeing some classmates who are out here now. And I've been on, like, it took me all week to even watch The Boys, just with work and my new work schedule. So I'm a little bit behind, but I will try to catch up with you guys. And then the next couple weekends, I'm at home, so I shouldn't have too much going on. I should be able to really rest and recover and watch my TV. So we'll see. I'm going to catch up with some movies next week as well.
I also finished Hijack season 2, and I finished Monarch Legacy of Monsters. I'm going to do a Monarch video.
Those screeners going.
And I'm going to do a Monarch video. And For All Mankind, the season finale is Friday. So I've already seen it, but I'm going to do a live show with my boy Javi talking about that. They're also doing a spin-off, which is funny. The season finale is Friday, and then the spin-off is Friday. The first season This is season 5. The finale of season
What's
5.
the spinoff called?
It's called Star City.
One Big Step.
It's called Star City. So it's basically part of the story, but told from the Soviet perspective, not the American perspective.
Oh, brother.
So Star City.
Cool.
So I'm gonna do a For All Mankind show on the finale of that. So speaking of that, before we get out of here, what we're gonna do next? I've talked to Chanel. Well, I messaged Chanel about what's upcoming, and we are definitely doing. I mean, our show started with House of the Dragon. So House of the Dragon season 3 starts in June, the end of June, and then after that there's Silo, and then there's Lanterns, which Chanel blew my mind when she said she actually wants to watch Lanterns. I did not think she was going to want to watch that at all. I did not think she was going to have any interest. I sent you the trailer for Lanterns, and you said, "Oh, I'm in on that."
I believe I just don't remember saying that.
And I almost fell out of my chair
I'm sure I did that
when she messaged me that, because I could not believe she would want to watch Lanterns, even though Lanterns looks fucking awesome because it's made by the people who did True Detective. So it's basically 2 Green Lanterns as True Detectives.
Well, it's probably because of Aaron Pierre. That's Mufasa. That's probably it.
But House of Dragons in a month from now. So what I suggested to Chanel is that we talk a little bit, if she has time, that we talk about Spider-Man Noir, which is apparently good. I wanted to do Cape Fear, but we weren't going to have time to do the whole season of Cape Fear. And so I didn't want to do another, we start something and don't finish it, because that's not great. But I heard Cape Fear was going to be awesome. That's an Apple TV show that I think we get the screener for that comes out in June. So maybe I'll just watch Cape Fear on the side, or maybe if Chanel does watch it, we can just recap it at the end at some point as like one episode. Here, this is the season, this is what we thought, type of thing. But we're not going to do weekly things at Cape Fear because we're not going to be able to keep up with it. So I suggested to Chanel that we talk about Spider-Man Noir, because I believe Spider-Man Noir is going to be released. Well, not that it's not just that it's good. I think it's going to be released all at once. I think like the whole season is going to be released all at once, so we can watch it in our own time and talk about it over the next few weeks. And then I said that we might do some just is that the right word? Potpourri? Mixed content episodes where we just talk about different things, movies that she sees, things like that, until we get to We Was Dragons, where we started in June, which is on a Sunday. And if Chanel's free on Sundays, maybe we'll talk, me and her will talk about it, but maybe we'll just record live sometime that night after the show. That way we can get it out the way.
Maybe you can catch up. Maybe you could catch up on you.
I mean, I got Star.
I'm just saying.
I got Star City. I got For All Mankind. Cape Fear's coming up. I got Widow's Bay. Like, what you want from me? No,
I'll catch up. Just finished it when we started.
I'll catch up on you. Okay,
that's true. That's true. You're getting there.
I'll catch up on you because I don't like how you slandered Joe. Like Joe's had
exactly.
Joe has made some choices that I wouldn't have made if it were me. It's things that I would not have done. However, Joe has logic behind all of his decisions that he makes.
Yeah, you stopped at an interesting part. That's why I need to see the rest.
You can see where he comes from. And now he's with this crazy woman he's just trying to be normal. And this woman driving him crazy. So I will catch back up with my boy Joe, who is being slandered by my partner over here, which I will not accept. I just won't accept it. But no. So yeah, hopefully I can get Chanel to watch Cape Fear in her own time, and we'll just recap that at the end, which I heard it's going to be awesome. Some other things coming out that we're not going to be talking about in the show, but you guys probably should watch because it's really good. My Adventures with Superman season 3, one of the best cartoons out there, Adult Swim. It's so awesome. It's like Superman done in anime style. Like imagine Superman, but like in anime, like written as anime and drawn as anime. That's My Adventures with Superman. It's pretty excellent. Sugar season 2. We didn't watch Sugar season 1, although I think people were telling us to watch it back then, but we never watched it. But that's coming out, and then obviously, I mean, I'm very excited about Silo, but Chanel already read the books, so she already knows everything's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen in Silo.
No, I didn't read that far past it. I just know why it happened. That's all I cared about.
And you just know why it happened.
I don't know how it ends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know how it ends.
Okay. So yeah. So our next consistent show will be our first show, which is House of the Dragon, which is June 20 something when it comes out. But until then, hopefully we'll be back each week talking about Spider-Man or some other stuff. Chanel might message me and tell me to watch something. And I won't say no to her because, as you all notice, I think it's like 8-0 when Chanel says, hey, Brandon, I want you to watch this thing. And Brandon watches the thing. And then Brandon says, hey, Chanel, I want you to watch the thing. Chanel says, I'm going to a concert. And so she doesn't watch the thing. And so we 8-0. We're 8-0. But we'll get there. We'll get there. No, I'm joking. No, I'm excited. So thank you all for listening and the people who joined the chat, because we were gone for a long time and we still have people in the chat watching us and following us. So we appreciate that. Hopefully we'll get the rest of you back who will see this episode go live on the podcast feed and realize that we're back. And then next week we should be back with something to talk about. Maybe a couple episodes of Spider-Man Noir, not sure. But we'll have something to talk about next weekend when Chanel's free. You want to do the outro, Chanel?
Guys, thank you so much for being here. We missed you. We're glad to be back.
Oh!
Chanel! What?
I know what we're talking about next week. I cannot believe neither of us said this. I cannot believe this, especially you. Do you know what's out right now? All the episodes?
Mm-mm.
Jury Duty Season 2.
Oh, that's so late. That's been out for months.
No,
That's
it came out
for months.
No, it came out May.
For months.
No, it came out. No, I'm looking at it. It came out May 17th.
That's the last episode. It's been coming out for weeks.
You watched it?
I started it.
Why didn't you tell me?
Because you didn't. I can't believe. Like, they've been talking about it for so long.
When the first one came out, you said every day, have you watched Jury Duty? Have you watched Jury Duty? Have you watched Jury Duty? So this one wasn't as good because you ain't say shit about it.
No, I just haven't watched it. I haven't watched anything. I love it. It seems like a really nice guy. We should watch it. Also, yeah, we could watch it. We can talk about it.
Okay, maybe we'll talk about that.
I can catch up on that.
Those look short too. What is this? 30 minutes episode. Yeah, those are short. So yeah, we can catch up on Jury Duty. So we'll talk about Jury Duty next week, maybe some Spider-Man Noir, and we'll figure out stuff to talk about until House of the Dragon.
Well, thanks guys for listening and being here. We really appreciate you. We miss you guys. Don't forget you can leave a 5-star review anywhere that we do reviews, including Apple Podcasts. You can follow us across all social media at We Was Watching, and our personal follow @ and all that stuff is in the notes. If you have any comments, leave them on Spotify. We'd love to interact with you guys. Again, we did miss you over the break. We really appreciate you guys coming back. So look forward to being here. Thanks to everyone who's in the chat today. And we'll see you guys next weekend with something. In the meantime, have a great week. Shout out to you. And if We Was Watching is watching it, then you should be watching it too.